See, the only way I see this working is at very low levels where you care about the cantrip damage. Like
Yeah.
if I'm, I can turn off their healing, or I could use, you know, higher level spells to cause more damage than their healing is going to bring them back up to anyway. Chill touch is off the table for me.
Yeah, that seems like a reasonable.
Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns Creatures series of comedy, fantasy novels, and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today we're talking about the spell Chill Touch.
It was too cold. It killed me. You create this is a necromancy cantrip, so that matters if you're death domain, because you can Reaper win this thing. Get 2 chill touches. Pretty sweet. Cast times in action, range is 120 feet, components verbal and somatic. Duration is 1 round. You create a ghostly skeletal hand in the space of a creature within range. Make a ranged spell attack against the creature to assail it with the chill of the grave. On hit, the target takes a d8 necrotic damage, and it can't regain hit points until the start of your next turn. Until then, the hand clings to the target. If you hit an undead target, it also has disadvantage on attack rolls against you until the end of your next turn. At higher levels, damage goes up by a d8 at 5th, 11th, 17th level. Sorcerer, Wizard, Warlock spell.
I feel like there was a time when they put a lot more effort into flavoring these.
I don't know if it's net positive that there's more words here, though. I guess there is. It's kind of cool.
It's they and they go out of their way to make it sound really eerie and creepy, but in the world of Dungeons and Dragons, this is a cantrip. Like if you cast this on somebody, they're gonna laugh and say, "He's casting a chill touch."
Yeah. Uh yeah. So the reality of this thing is the mode that matters is when you hit undead targets, they have disadvantage on attack rolls against you. Because
Yeah,
nothing
that's
regains hit points. Right? Like there
almost
isn't
nothing.
there's
Troll,
trolls,
yeah,
there's
there's troll.
Slod, they have
Yeah,
regeneration. That's not that compelling, and it's a 120-foot D8 damage. We can compare it to Firebolt and be like, oh,
well,
Firebolt is just
but
usually more damage at a better effect.
yeah, I don't know. I'd probably take Firebolt over this, but it is nice to know, like, it's got the thing for regenerating creatures that, I mean, not just regenerating, but I mean, like, they can't be healed, or not sucking down potions or anything. So there's that.
Sure, I don't
Um,
know how often that's happening, but sure. I would guess
you know,
infrequently, based off
but
personal
what I'm
experiences.
saying is, it's uh, it's nice that that's there, but it's also nice that they have the undead thing. If you're planning to fight a bunch of undead, maybe you want this, and then if you happen to come upon a troll, gravy.
I think this feels reminiscent of the domain that hates undead, right? Any kind of channel divinity option that kills specifically undead or whatever. If you're going into an apocalypse setting, if you're going into Innistrad, or if you're going into Ravenloft, and you're like, this is an undead centric game, Chill Touch is great. Chill Touch has a lot of uses there. It's still ranged. So, like, you putting it on undead normally is a Hail Mary maneuver of, like, I'm getting completely obliterated. Please, God's hand, save me. And that extra modality for what is a dice size damage drop is reasonable. Like, that's entirely fine. It's still not warping that game at all, but it's nice to have that little extra pillow in there, you know? Uh the real reason that this thing sees any play at all, I think, is Death Domain, and they got Toll the Dead, which is just this, but sometimes does a d12 damage. Usually does a d12 damage. So then you're like, is there a world in that which I'm taking Chill Touch outside of the undead? What do you think?
I don't
Like,
know
do you
if
take this over any of the other higher damage options, or even other like effect spells, like Vicious Mockery, Mind Sliver,
that's what I'm
Frostbite?
thinking. I want an effect that matters. Um, I feel like if I'm fighting something that like that this is going to be really important against, I don't want to be casting cantrips. You know, especially not every turn, because the effects only last until the start of your next turn, or with the undead until the end of your next turn. It's weird how they
Yeah.
differentiated that.
That is odd. You're right.
Yes,
Uh
way more
huh.
than I would have to think about.
Yeah. Huh. Anyway, this is the kind of spell, like, even if I know my players have it, for that exact reason of no one wants to spend their action every single turn in combat turning off the thing's healing, I'm not going to throw monsters that don't have a way to engage with the healing, unless the healing is like supposed to be somehow part of the challenge, but healing is just more hit points. Just get things with more hit points for that kind of. I don't see as a DM there being much bonus strategy around regenerating hit points for the most part. And unless there's already a way to toggle it off, I don't want to ask a player, your job is to be bored so that the players can win the fight, right? By spamming shield touch every round. So that
Well,
makes
see,
this
but
like, I don't even want to consider you running as a problem for people where this is a solution.
see, the only way I see this working is at very low levels, where you care about the cantrip damage. Like,
Yeah.
if I can turn off their healing, or I could use, higher level spells to cause more damage than their healing is going to bring them back up to anyway. Chill touch is off the table for me.
Yeah, that seems like a reasonable. I mean, unless you can like math it so that, oh, it would heal 25, and this doing 3d8 damage plus the amount that it's no longer healing out damages the upper tier options. Maybe it's still not something that I want to do. I want to just like lay into it with the disintegrate, right? So I think this is a solid 2 out of 5. I don't think it is a cantrip most people want. It's still a D8 cantrip. The floor is high enough that you'll be fine with it if you like the thematics. It'll be a fine low tier damaging cantrip. It's not better than almost all of its competition, but it is better than some of its competition, and that keeps it at 1 territory, baby.
Yes. Yeah, like you said before, if I'm using a damage cantrip, I want it to have an effect that's going to matter in more situations and be more effective than this does.
Yeah.
2 sounds right. I'm with you. All right. Anything else to say about chill touch?
Death Domain out there. Told the Dead's a new option for you. Take that
Okay,
instead.
yeah. All right. Well, that was chill touch then. Thank you, Sam, for being here. And thank you, everyone, for watching. And let us know your opinions. I think this is a popular one, right? This is people like
Popular?
chill touch. I don't know.
Yeah.
Feels like I hear people talking about it. Anyway, let us know what you think down in the comments below. Do you love chill touch? Why? And like, subscribe, all that, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.